Lethal Company is the hottest game right now. I feel like sometime every year we always get some amazing new indie game by a team of like 5 people, and the game ends up blowing up so much it starts outselling AAA games, and everyone's talking about it and playing it. It ends up breaking records along the way too, and Lethal Company seems to be doing just that. Last year it was Among Us, then Fall Guys, Fortnite, etc. But this year, the biggest game of 2023 right now, at the end of the year too, is Lethal Company. And so far I don't see this game slowing down anytime soon, because the devs just keep rolling out update after update weekly. They're not wasting no time keeping this game on top. Don't want to make the same mistake as Among Us did by disappearing when the game is at its peak and taking months to add some new content to the game. But no, the developers over at Zeekers, I gotta say, is doing a great job at keeping this game together. And it's still an early access build too. They have so much planned for this co-op survival game. They already added enough content to keep players busy, not to mention the community behind the game are very passionate about it, making thousands of mods for it, and it hasn't even been 3 months. They are quick. And I'm sure when the game's done, they might even add workshop support on Steam to make the entire process easier for fans. As of right now, the most popular mod for the game is the multiplayer one. I've used it a few times because 4 players aren't enough, man. I want the whole squad to join me in the game like this. But this game is a huge success. Lethal Company has more than 90,000 concurrent players right now, and at its peak it averaged 239,000 players, which is insane. For the first 2 months of release, that's some incredible numbers. And I'm sure if the game released earlier in the year, they would have absolutely taken over the Game Awards. But the game came after the cutoff point. Talk about bad scheduling, but hey, it was a success on Halloween, and it's now one of Steam's biggest games of all time. 2024 is looking great for Lethal Company on PC at least, because the game isn't available on console just yet, and that's what I actually wanted to touch on in this video, because nobody's talking about a PlayStation, Xbox, or even a Switch port just yet, and the people who want to get their hands on Lethal Company and play it like everyone else wants to know if they can expect the game on their platform, because obviously they don't own a PC. So is Lethal Company coming to console? Well, I say yes, because like every other major Steam exclusive game, it always ends up coming to other platforms like Xbox and PlayStation. But you gotta remember, these games that are blowing up are indie games composed of about 4 to 5 developers running the show. It's not a big team, so they're trying their best, especially because this game was only made by one person. I know for a fact Zeekers is planning on porting Lethal Company though, but right now their primary goal is to actually finish the game, because if you didn't know, the game is still in early access. It says here on Steam that the team has more ideas and features in mind, but either way they're confident you'll enjoy the game as is right now. They want to wait for more community feedback to help tune the game's difficulty and balance. Lethal Company is finished, but still far from realizing its true potential. The game is planned to come out of early access in 6 months, but things can change. He's planning on keeping the game as an early access until they're satisfied with it. But obviously when the game on Steam gets out of early access, that's when the devs are going to try and branch out. Pretty much the same process other games like Phasmophobia do that are Steam exclusive. So after the game gets out of early access and they come out with their polished version of the full game, they're going to try and branch out everywhere else, like to the Epic Games launcher, Xbox, PlayStation. Probably only new gen though, since more devs are ditching old gen already. The truth is, old gen is holding back new gen, but then again, the game's specs, or hardware requirements I should say, aren't really that demanding. They're just asking for a 4-core CPU and a 4GB GPU, which is more than enough than what the PS4 and Series X has. But then again, when porting games, they always just make brand deals with the new gen, like again Phasmophobia did with Sony, or even Sons of the Forest. It's not available on PS4 like the old game. So that's why if Lethal Company comes to console, I just see it coming out on next gen. But hey, who knows, maybe it'll come out on the PS4 and Xbox One. And if that's the case, then that automatically signifies that they'll try a Switch port, even though it'll be insanely difficult due to the Switch's hardware holding back every game lately. But the way I see it, this is the type of game I want on the Switch. There's not really any horror games, and with Nintendo growing the Switch Online services, they're starting to get the hang of it, which has been more apparent with the Mario Wonder release. Like, we finally got voice chat available on the Switch now. Nintendo clearly wants to provide more online driven games, so who knows, Lethal might just be that. So I think the game will come to the Switch too eventually, but maybe just with offline play. That's just how the Switch rolls. But hey, the game is better with friends, but it's still fun playing alone. But as for the Xbox and Switch, dude, they're definitely coming. There's just no way. Zeekers would just be leaving money on the table. Obviously we have to wait until he finishes the game in April in 2024, outsource for a bigger team to help him, like some port developers, people to continue to update PC and all these other platforms, because that's going to be a lot of work to kick off, especially with a game this big. You want everything to run and work properly if you're going to bring it over to other platforms, and that takes time to build a team like that and get more devs on board with the whole thing. I would say the announcement could be next year, who knows, but the actual port will be in late 2025, just because this is an extremely small studio we're talking about. It doesn't have the proper manpower at the moment, just one man. But like every other game that blows up like Lethal Company, Among Us, Phasmophobia, Fall Guys, all of those games that started small on Steam eventually grew because of the internet's its popularity with the game. They decide to expand and hire more devs, allowing ports to even happen. And I feel like the same thing is going to happen with Lethal Company. Either Zeeker's by himself or he's going to get bought out by Xbox like Fall Guys. Or PlayStation, who knows? But I know this game is going to grow and eventually come out on console. In April, I expect the announcement that the game is coming out of early access, the team is growing, more content's coming out, and then a console port announcement at the end of the year around the same time the game came out this year. Because the pasting this guy is going with the updates, he's going insanely fast. Most of the time, a game gets out of early access years from now. But 6 months, man, it's going to come to console sooner than you think. One thing is for certain though, the price of Lethal Company is not changing. The studio promised us it will remain at $10 for good. Honestly, that's so generous of them. I don't know how the hell he's going to have more funding for future projects. Any other company would have just raised the price because of the success it's getting right now. But who knows, maybe he'll just charge us for future DLCs or something. Like with new maps, I don't know. But yeah, when the game comes out to console, expect it to be priced at $9.99. Here's to the future of Lethal Company, guys. I've been having a blast with this game. I want it to grow and succeed far more. It kind of reminds me of Half-Life and Dead Space for some reason, with a hint of Pikmin because of the whole exploring for money. I don't know. I know it sounds stupid, but that's just my take on the game. Anyways, hopefully this video helped answer all of your questions. I'll be sure to keep you all updated if some sort of new news comes out about the console port. All of you guys who are subscribed to me, you know the process. We've been doing this for years. We always eyeball the release of console ports, and now Lethal Company's next. So yeah, be sure to subscribe for more, leave a like, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out. Stay blue.